Hello everyone and welcome to Medicated Housewife DIY, where crafting and mental health come together. My name is Sarah. In today's DIY video, MacKenzie Childs inspired Dollar Tree wood tray, easy high-end holiday DIY. We are using the new $5 large wood tray from the Dollar Tree, along with some low-cost builders wood biscuits, and transforming them into high-end holiday-themed and MacKenzie Childs inspired home decor. Gorgeous and expensive looking, this slightly retro design screams high-end holiday cheer, and you're gonna love it. So stick around and let's go make some stuff and jump right into this. To begin with, I will link all the supplies used in the description box below. As I said before, we're using this very large $5 wood tray from Dollar Tree, and first thing I do is remove the label. Then I want to give the inside of the tray a white base coat. So I am using Apple Barrel Gloss acrylic paint in the color white, and I will link that for you below. I'm going to paint the entire base white, along with just the inside walls of the tray sides. And this is just a base coat. We'll be painting over it, but I believe I did give it 2 coats of the white to ensure full coverage, and then I gave it some time to dry. We're going to use these wood biscuits. That's what they're called. I know they don't look like biscuits. I didn't name them, but they're called wood biscuits. So they're these small, thin wood pieces in a sort of rounded diamond shape. And I got these at Harbor Freight. You can find them at Home Depot too, but I will find a comparable wood biscuit online for you and link it below, just in case you can't find them. We're going to be using a total of 68 biscuits for our design. My first idea was a little different than the final project. Surprise, surprise, I changed my mind. So I am painting more of these biscuits here than I actually need. You're going to take 34 of them, and we're using white gloss paint. We're going to paint one side of each of the 34 biscuits, making sure to paint over the side edges too. And we only need one side covered, but you may want to go over that side twice just for some good solid coverage. Then we take the other 34 biscuits, and we're using Apple Barrel black gloss paint. We paint one side of each of those biscuits, paying close attention to the edges of each of them. We're going to set those 34 aside to dry as well, and then we're going to have a total of 68 wood biscuits that are painted either black or white. Once my white base coat is dry on the tray, I want to paint the inside base and wall of that tray gold. I'm using Folk Art brushed metal metallic paint in the color brushed gold, and I will link that for you below. It's a little bit of an antique-y kind of gold look. I only want that gold on the inside, so to begin with, I use a smaller brush to outline all of my edges, because the edge and outside of the tray wall will be a different color. I mean, the outside edge and the outside of the tray wall will be a different color. So I start by carefully outlining the edges and then use a larger brush to fill in the rest of the inside of the tray. I ended up doing 2 full coats of that gold, and then I let the tray dry. When the gold paint is dry, I take that Apple Barrel Gloss black again, and using a small brush, I start to outline the top and outer edge of the tray wall with the black paint. Then I switch to a larger brush to finish painting the outside of my tray. I want to paint the whole outside a glossy black. I don't paint that little inner edge of the tray handles, that little edge inside, because I did have a different idea to do for that little inner edge. So after I had changed my tray design idea, I grabbed these little wood half beads that I got on Amazon. I will link them for you below. I needed 51 of them exactly, and I find the easiest way to paint these half beads is to stick them onto clear packing tape, as I did here. This makes it so much easier to keep them together in one place, and so that you can easily spin the tape around to make sure that you've painted all the sides of the beads. I use the same brushed gold paint as my inner tray to paint these beads, and then I set them aside to fully dry. I knew I wanted to get a little splash of a deep red color somewhere on this tray, and the only spot that I could do that was that tiny little inside edge of my tray handles. And the deepest red that I had was this apple barrel cardinal crimson, and I will link that for you below. So using a tiny brush, I carefully painted the inside edge of the tray handles on both sides with this red. I ended up doing 2 coats of paint just to give it a tiny little burst of color. Once the half beads were fully dry, I just peeled them off of the packing tape. Then it was time to assemble the tray design, and I wanted to alternate my black and white biscuits with a gold half bead in between each of them within the columns, and I needed to try out the spacing to make sure that everything would fit and to know where everything should be placed. So I played around with that spacing before committing to actually gluing it all down, and I'm using super glue wood glue from Dollar Tree to attach the biscuits and the beads to the tray bottom. In between gluing, I used a ruler or a large craft stick to try and make sure my rows and my columns would stay straight and even. After doing the first column, I decided to glue down that entire bottom row, and that was just to help ensure that I didn't start to get crooked as I did my columns, and also to make sure that all of my columns were going to fit correctly. I took my time in between gluing down each piece to adjust whatever needed to be adjusted, and I think it's easier to just watch how I did this than it would be for me to try and explain the pattern to you. So just watch how I lay down the design in the video and use that as a reference. Once all my wood biscuits and beads were fully glued down and the glue had totally dried, off camera I did use Decor triple thick gloss, and I will link that for you below. I used that to seal the bottom of the tray and also to give it a really glossy finish, and I wanted it to have a little bit of dimension to it. And this is how my MacKenzie Childs inspired Dollar Tree wood tray turned out. Now I'm calling this MacKenzie Child inspired because it has that familiar black and white kind of diamond checkerboard pattern that is so common in so many MacKenzie Childs designs, but this is not a dupe, it's just inspired. These wood biscuits are not truly diamond shaped, they're a little different, they're a little more rounded, and also in the end, this pattern gave me more of a retro, vintagey, like Jetson type feel to it. And I love the black, white, and gold color combo so much, and especially during the holiday season. There's something so classic and high-end about this design. I also love the little dash of red just splashed in there. I think it really pulls it all together. All in all, I think this design is a truly high-end representation of creating a designer look on a Dollar Tree budget. And frankly, isn't that our point here? So mission accomplished. But as usual, I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this high-end designer-inspired Dollar Tree wood tray. Does it remind you of MacKenzie Childs or some other retro style? Let me know your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this Medicated Housewife DIY, and if you did, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing. It really helps out my channel. Once again, I really appreciate you watching, and a very big thank you to my subscribers. I'm so thankful for all of you. Until next time, I'm the Medicated Housewife, and crafting is my medication.